Welcome to a new episode of the Change Your Mind podcast. Today, we will talk about the most important topic that could change your life. Stay tuned until the end to learn the practical steps on this subject. Imagine there are those who merely speak of positivity, urging you to banish negativity without revealing the path to achieving it. I am not of that ilk. I am here to illuminate the practical steps and scientific methods that can aid you in training your mind to radiate positivity. The journey ahead rests in your hands. Now let me unveil the foremost crucial stride on the path to positive thinking. Are you prepared? Envision your mind as a mighty engine. You cannot relinquish the wheel and push the throttle recklessly, hurtling towards an unknown destination, risking a collision with obstacles. You must steer this potent force purposefully. You are the driver of your thoughts. Positive thinking commences with a resolute choice. Do not allow your mind to drift aimlessly. We are all susceptible to bouts of negativity. Even the brightest minds may find themselves ensnared in pessimism. Some of us may have become accustomed to detrimental thinking patterns, but it is imperative that when you sense your thoughts leading you astray, you take charge and alter your course. So, you will ask me a question now. How can you transmute negative thoughts into positive ones? Firstly, acquaint yourself with essential truths about the mind. It is not solely your mind, but a collective entity shared among us all. The mind is adept at substitution, replacing one thought with another, yet struggles with negation. For instance, if I instruct you not to ponder the shape of a banana, please refrain from doing so. The mind fixates on what it is told to avoid. It is forbidden to contemplate a banana, yet now you may find yourself envisioning its form due to the mind's difficulty with negation. Therefore, refrain from framing your aspirations in negative terms. Instead of stating, "I don't want to eat unhealthy food," which triggers thoughts of unhealthy food indulgences, declare, "I choose to commence each meal with a revitalizing salad." Replace thoughts of what you wish to discard with visions of what you aspire to embrace. And when fear grips you, and unwanted scenarios loom large in your mind, pause and pose a simple question. This is what I don't want. So what is it that I want? This simple question will train your mind to think about the things it wants to pursue instead of dwelling on what it doesn't want and wants to escape from. Don't be surprised if the answer doesn't come immediately. We all go through similar events. Company executives, organizational leaders, and chairpersons often complain about what they don't want and what they fear. Then, after listening to them for a while, if you ask them what they do want, you'll find that they become silent because they have been so focused on what they don't want that they forgot to think about what they do want. If you continuously train your mind with this question, ask yourself, what do I want? Remember, we think of your mind as a car with a powerful engine, and you are the one driving it, right? Okay, let's stay in this car momentarily. I want to draw your attention to the fact that every car in the world has a mirror to see the road behind you. But while you're driving, you must look at the road ahead. This brings us to the third practical exercise I want to discuss. You cannot think positively while most of the time you are looking backward. This is exactly what we need to train our minds to do. Positive thinking must involve spending 70% of the time thinking about the future, the road ahead, not looking in the mirror at the road behind us. That's why we must enforce that the mind be occupied with the present and the future. Thinking about the past can sometimes be useful, for example, when we reflect on our mistakes to learn from them and not repeat them in the future. However, indulging in thoughts about the past, what has happened, regrets, self-punishment, and wishing, if only, is often not beneficial, and is one of the stories that lead to negative thinking. We can never go back in time and change something that has already happened. The past is finished and over. The best way to stop thinking about the past negatively is to start thinking more about the future. We agreed that the world doesn't know how to stop thinking about something, but it knows how to replace one thing with another. And this brings us to the fourth point we need to discuss. Let's remember the 3 points we talked about earlier. Positive thinking starts with a decision. Think about what you want instead of what you don't want. Focus your thoughts on the future more than the past. All right, The fourth point is a natural development of everything that has passed. You need to engage your mind with future goals. Start turning your dreams and hopes into goals that you can think about and consider how to achieve them. It would be great if one could read books and learn about the field of mental health. That's a hope or a dream. But when you say, within a year, I will have read 50 books in the field of mental health, it starts to become a goal. Just adding a number to your dream or ambition turns it into something measurable and therefore something you can strive for, and your mind will begin to think about how to achieve it. There are many studies surrounding goal setting and positive mental states. Be aware that I told you goal setting is not goal achievement. Just identifying a goal itself boosts your morale to work towards a defined, written, and focused goal. This increases your mental efficiency because the mind's main ability is to think. If you don't feed it something useful to think about, it will start thinking about anything, like the past, negative expectations, and fears. When you set goals for yourself, it begins to engage with them. Think about them. Innovate, search, learn, and gather information. This is why it is very important to set daily, weekly, and long-term goals. Goal setting directs the mind towards a direction where it can utilize its mental energy, and when you actually take positive steps towards some of these goals, it boosts your morale. When your spirits are high, your thinking becomes more positive. Now, you have a question. What if I couldn't achieve my goals? Then my morale would plummet, and I would revert to negative thinking. This brings us to the fifth and final point we need to discuss regarding the rules of positive thinking. You should think within your circle of influence. What is this circle of influence? It's the area where you actually have control. You can influence, make decisions, and achieve results. Hence, every goal you set should fall within your circle of influence. If you think about goals, or even just remove significant aspects outside your circle of influence, which are things you cannot affect or change, you are simply thinking about something futile. According to the principle of the circle of influence from psychological studies, the happiest, most effective individuals who achieve their ambitions and succeed in life tend to confine their thinking within their circle of influence. Strive within the area where you can make an impact. You are influenced by what you can control. So instead of wondering whether the exam will be easy or difficult, think about how you will create a review plan to prepare for the exam as best as you can. If there is something you cannot control, why worry about it? The more you practice focusing on the things you can influence and achieve results in, the more you will find your spirits rising, and your thinking will become more positive. It is not reasonable for things to be this easy. Many people want you to believe that it's not this simple, but in reality, the difficulty or ease is defined by you. Just as you learned to talk and walk when you were young through training and effort, you can teach your mind to think more effectively. Pick one of the 5 practices we talked about today and engage your mind with it for a week. Then, once you have that down, pick another one for a week, a month, or however long it takes, and train your mind on them one by one until they become habitual positive thinking patterns for you. Now, if you say, what if that doesn't work? That's why I initially told you that positive thinking must start with a decision. No one can change your thinking except you. No one will give you 3 words that will change your life. You have to start yourself. You have to train your mind to think in new ways. With practice, you will find that your thinking improves, your results improve, and your spirits lift, and all of this will help you think positively. If you followed along and reached this point with me, thank you. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, and leave a comment to tell me your opinion on what you heard.